All right, everyone. It is December 31st, 2023, the last day of the year, and it's the final installment of the Fantasy Football Championship, the Fantasy Bowl. My team, Brian's Lions, against the underdog, the Midwestern Mavericks. So let's go to the updates. Well, there was a game on December 30th, yesterday, and it was really one of the games of the year. The playoff-bound Detroit Lions against the playoff-bound Dallas Cowboys in Arlington, Texas. And Rick had two players in the game. I had two players. Rick went with Jahmyr Gibbs, the talented rookie for Detroit. He was predicted to have 12 points. He had a lot of great runs and came close to scoring a touchdown, but he did not. He ended up with only 4.25 points. I went with his running mate in the backfield. They alternate. And Jahmyr Gibbs was very highly ranked. David Montgomery was much lower, ranked 25th. But when it came to the goal line, he got the call. He scored the touchdown. Detroit ended up losing a controversial game, 20-19. He was predicted for 11 points. He ended up with 12.5. Rick also went with Sam Laporta over Ferguson for Dallas. Ferguson, he originally had him. He changed it, and Ferguson projected for 9, had 4 points, became close several times on targets, couldn't haul the ball in. And Laporta, one of the great rookies for Detroit, projected for 9 points. He ended up with 10.25.
Sweetwater is your ultimate.
Rick had already went with the New York Jet receiver Garrett Wilson earlier against Cleveland. Cleveland won to make the playoffs. He ended up with 6.25 points. Now, I don't think I would have went with a Jet receiver because the Jets are last in the league in points scored, but that was Rick's decision. Rick also originally went with Jared Goff of Detroit. And I said, oh, good, he's not going to go with Matthew Stafford, his other quarterback. Last minute, he changed and went with Stafford. That was a good choice because Goff ended up with 2 interceptions, only had 4 points through 3 quarters, but he ended up with 10 points as they made a mad rush to almost win. But the story of the night, CeeDee Lamb, projected for 17 points, went off for 29.75 points, 13 catches, 225 yards, and a touchdown. Dropped another ball at the goal line that went through the end zone. So I actually lost 4 points on that play. And he had 2 or 3 other catches he should have had. He dropped them. Ended up with almost 30. The saving grace for me. So going into today, the last Sunday, I lead Rick 42.25 to 20.75. He is projected to have 99 points. I'm projected for 135. Now, Rick and I played back in week 7, and I beat him by 40 points. So the projection here is for about 37 points, but I know in my heart it's not going to be like that. It's going to be a mad rush. I feel like Matthew Stafford, Rams going against the Giants, is going to be a big game for Stafford. Rick also has the third leading rusher in the league, James Cook. I expect him to have a big game, although he won't get the 2 touchdowns he got last week. He also is going with T. Higgins. He made that change today. He dropped Calvin Ridley, so that was a good choice for Rick. He's playing some little games. He wanted me to think he was going with guys, and he's changed it. He's also going with Mike Evans, who can score at will a lot. So he's made some good choices. He made a trade with Randy. He's got Devontae Evans going today. He's projected for 12 points for Vegas. He's got two great defensive guys who always score 5, 10 points. Forsad Alakun and Alex Singleton. And he changed kickers again. Fourth kicker in 3 weeks. Every week he's changing kickers. He's chasing points, which I think is a mistake. He's going with Seattle. Jason Myers, who was home against Pittsburgh, so he wants a dome kicker. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous because he's got some great players. If they have career days like CeeDee Lamb does, I could easily lose this. But I do have almost about 21 point cushion. But I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes. He's home today against Cincinnati. That's a late game. Christian McCaffrey is mine. He's going up against Washington today. They're not a very good team. It's at Washington. He's scheduled for 21 points. Mahomes for 19. I've also got Devontae Smith. He's going up against Arizona today in just about a half hour. Arizona's not a very good team. He's scheduled for 8 points. Puka Nacua, who's been hurt all week with a hip injury, but he's going to play. He's projected for 11 points. I'm going with Evan Ingram, another tight end. I'm using 2 tight ends today because Cortland Sutton's out. So I don't have any players left. They got hurt or whatever. So I'm going with Evan, and Rick gave him up. He's scheduled for 7 points. Trey McBride, he's one of the top tight ends, but he's been very quiet the last couple weeks going against Philadelphia. They are going to win that game. Philadelphia is, but need him to play from behind, have some big points, and score a touchdown. He's scheduled for 8. Roquan Smith, Baltimore defensive guy, scheduled for 5 points projected. Terrell Bernard, Buffalo linebacker, projected for 4 points. And I'm staying with my kicker. I got rid of him once and I regretted it. He only had 3 points last week, but that was enough to give me a victory, slim victory. He's scheduled for 8 points. That projection comes out for me winning and defeating Rick, but I just know it's going to be closer. I'm getting very nervous. I'm going to claim the victory right now. I'm going to be confident. There's no guarantees. I'm not Joe Namath. I'm feeling very good about it. It was a glorious night last night. But again, this will be my last fantasy football game in the Smith family. It's too nerve-wracking. It takes away my joy of life. It's too stressful. I'm hoping to come out and by the end of the day, I'm going to be on pins and needles all day. I feel like I'm going to win. I've even prayed about it. I'll reiterate that I don't think God cares about fantasy football. I think he does care about happiness, but I'm sure Rick's doing the same thing. I feel good about my chances today to win. I've got a pretty good team. I don't want to go through the mocking ever again of everything I went through. I would have rather played Michael Powers today to get revenge on him. He beat me 3 years ago. And him and Rickers projected for about the same points, but he beat me in the finals 3 years ago with Camara, who had 7 touchdowns. That's how I lost. But Rick is in the finals. I don't know if he deserves to be, but that's the way it is. He played Mike last week, and Mike played with 10 players. He didn't have his full lineup in, and Rick was able to win by 10 points. Looking at the draft, going back to that, Rick had the 3rd pick in the draft. I had the 4th. His first choice. He had a chance to take Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams even. He took Austin Eckler. He ended up trading that player to Rick, or to Randy. I, of course, took Christian McCaffrey. Round 2, Rick picked right after me. I took CeeDee Lamb, number 1 receiver. So there's 2 tremendous picks. Rick took Garrett Wilson when he had the chance to take He could have taken A.J. Brown. He could have taken Mon-Ra St. Brown. He could have took a quarterback. He took Garrett Wilson, Jets. Third round, I took Patrick Mahomes. I wanted the top quarterback right off the bat. Rick took right ahead of me. He took T. Higgins. He could have taken Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. So Rick's pretty lucky to be in the finals in my eyes when I see that. Round 4, I took Devontae Smith. He took Jahmyr Gibbs, a rookie, but that's who he wanted. Who did help him down the stretch, but he was a slow start. So that's just to give you a little indication. So I'm going to go down and listen to the games, and hopefully in 7 hours from now I'll have a joyous tone to my voice. But I'm a nervous wreck, and I made a vow to God and Patty and the universe, I'm never doing this again. I'll get into public leagues where I don't really care about them. But this is my last personal, family, competitive match. I feel like I'm going to win. I'll be devastated if I don't. I want to go into the new year positive and a championship. I'm not going to do any bragging, no crowing, no trash talk, nothing like that. I'm going to act like I've been here before. So that's it for now. So stay tuned for the exciting conclusion of the 2023 Smith Fantasy Football League. And I have the upper hand for now. We'll see how it unfolds. Well, it's time for an update now. And I'll say it again. This is my last day ever playing fantasy football on this personal level. I'll be in a public league maybe, but I'll never go through this stress again. I'm literally having chest pain watching the games today on a silly fantasy football game with people I don't really care about. I don't really care about the teams. Well, as I told you earlier, I had a big day yesterday, and I had a 21-point lead on Rick. So going into today, I had Christian McCaffrey going, I had Devonta Smith, I had Puka Nacua, Evan Ingram, Trey McBride, Roquan Smith, Terrell Bernard going. So I had 5 guys in the top 5, some of the top players in the NFL going. None of them scored in double figures, not one. No touchdowns this afternoon, none, 0. As a matter of fact, my defensive guys saved me today. Christian McCaffrey didn't play the second half. He ended up with 9 points. Didn't play in the second half, hurt, which was what my biggest fear was. Roquan Smith ended up with 5.5 points, including an interception, which I needed. It's only worth 1 point. It should be worth more. Terrell Bernard ended up with 7 points, including a couple sacks. So I ended up with 12 points from them. Rick, well, he had James Cook, who let him down. He only had 4.25. Mike Evans, 7.75 for him. Devontae Smith, 27.25 points. The guy he got from Randy. That trade was made. I ain't going to say too much about that, but I don't think there should be trading like that.
Devontae Adams.
He is up to 75 points. I have 93.75. Still got an 18-point lead, but he's got 3 players to go. I have 2. He has Jason Myers. He got another kicker. He's projected to get 8 points. He's with Seattle. It's in a dome, so he could have points. He's also going with T. Higgins of Cincinnati. He's projected to get 9 points. And he's got a defensive guy, Alex Singleton, he's okay, nothing great, projected for 5. So he's projected to have about 97 points. I'm still projected to have about 121. But if Mahomes gets hurt and gets a 0, I mean, I'm talking worst case scenario. And I've got McPherson going. It's at Kansas City. If he doesn't do anything, that's it for me. I still think I'm going to win, but this is just not worth it. And plus, there's too many things that go on that aggravate me. I tried to get trades with people all year, and there was none. And Randy and Rick made a trade to help each other, and I don't know. I just don't think that should be going on unless everybody gets a chance to. Here's what's got me aggravated. I didn't go with Kyler Murray and James Conner because they're going against Philadelphia. Murray ends up with 23 points. Conner, 24.25 points. I put on a kicker. I was going to go with him. I didn't. He had 4 field goals, 16 points. Now, if I would have had those 3, we wouldn't be talking like we are right now. And I just had a feeling McCaffrey was going to get hurt. That's the one thing I said to Patty all day. So another weekend, another afternoon ruined. I'm never going to go through this again. I still think I'm going to hang on to win. Currently, we're at 93.75 to his 75. It's just too much. It's not worth it. I don't get any money for this. I'm going to get a little dinky trophy. Big deal. It's more about not being mocked and everything that goes with it. So right now, the Cincinnati-Kansas City game, I've got my kicker and quarterback going for that game, and Rick's got his receiver going, and then he's got a couple other players, kicker and defensive guy. They could easily, do well. Don't expect them to have more than 5 points defense and 10 for the kicker. I don't know, my kicker, I'm hoping he gets me a couple field goals and 2 or 3 extra points for 7-8 points. And I'm hoping that Holmes gets 15. I'll take that. He's projected for 19. But I'm praying he doesn't get hurt in the first quarter. Then that's it. So this is terrible. I'm literally having chest pain over a rinky-dink fantasy football. I'm 66 years old. I don't need this. I don't know who's listening to this. They're probably laughing their what's off. 66 years old worrying about a silly fantasy football championship. Yes, I want to win another one, but I'm not going to brag about it. There won't be any trash talk, although everybody else that's won, that's all they hear about. It's like they want a PhD or something. I've been very quiet all year, haven't said anything. I'm doing it mostly just to get maybe a little bit of respect from my brothers, which I often don't get. I've been mocked even in fantasy football. I don't know what to say too much because it's on the public domain, but I don't want anybody getting upset with me, but this is just too much. So again, I had to come on and say that. I'll give you the exciting conclusion. Maybe if I lose, I'll tear up the equipment and quit my job and everything else. This is too much. It's my last day of fantasy football ever. I think I'm going to crawl out of the pile with a victory by the skin of my teeth. I only won last week by 0.5 points. But it's not worth all the aggravation and the silliness and praying about it and everything when there's so many important things in this world, and I can never make the right decisions. I always leave my best players on my bench every single time they're on my bench. It's too much. Anyway, stay tuned for the exciting conclusion of the 2023 Smith Family Football League. I think I'm going to win, but it's going to be very, very close, and a lot of things have to happen. I lead by 18 29.75 with a couple games to go. Stay tuned. Well, it is not quite over, but there's only a couple minutes left. And I'm relieved and I'm happy to say that I have won the 2023 Fantasy Football Championship. I defeated Rick. It's not quite over. These are not the official numbers. 109.75 to 94.75. 15-point win. And what a roller coaster ride. I don't ever want to go through this again. It has been stressful. Really hasn't been enjoyable. I'll look back on this day probably with some negatives, really. I don't even feel real excited or ecstatic like I have in years past that I won. And I didn't even have the high score for the week, for the day. If I would have played Mike, I would have lost by a couple points. My team didn't really show up today, but I had enough to win. My MVP, of course, was CeeDee Lamb. That was a special night. I left more points on my bench, though, than I did in the game. Kyler Murray had 23 points. Patrick Mahomes, my starter, is going to end up with about 11. And he really faltered down the road, down the stretch, even more than the stretch, most of the season. James Conner, he had 24.25 today. I went with Montgomery, who had 12.5. CeeDee Lamb was my hero, 29.75, and he lost a fumble and cost me 4 points. Even Jackson Smith, the Jigma, had 7.25 with a touchdown. I didn't go with my backup kicker. I picked up Kaimi Fairbaum. He had 16. Evan McPherson 5. So the other real problem is Christian McCaffrey hurt and didn't play the second half. None of my starters today scored a touchdown. Can you imagine having Christian McCaffrey, Devonta Smith, Puka Nacua, Evan Ingram, Trey McBride, Patrick Mahomes, and getting no scoring touchdowns? Mahomes, I think, threw one touchdown pass for the day. That was it. I got one field goal, a couple extra points. That was it. But I hung on to win. Rick, really, his team was about like mine. It just struggled. His quarterback, Stafford, had 12 points, a couple interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't do anything for him. James Cook didn't do anything. Both have 4.25. T. Higgins, he started him. 1 point. Mike Evans, 7.75. Devonta Smith was his big gun. He had 27.25. So he basically matched what CeeDee Lamb did, but Rick couldn't do anything else with the rest of his team. Garrett Wilson, 6.25. Sam Laporte, 10.25. I actually had better defensive stats. Jason Myers, he picked up. He had 13. So I don't know how I beat him, really. I don't know where the key was where we were pretty much even. I had a little bit more on him on the running backs, and that's what did it. CeeDee Lamb and the rest of the team, we were pretty much even. Just very, very lucky to pull out the victory. He left some points on the bench also. Calvin Ridley had, he didn't do anything, but he left Devon Arcane on the bench. He had 20. He would have won it for him. He would have had him in there. So there's too much luck in the FFL. There's too much stress. And again, I'm very happy I won. I want to give thanks to God. And I'm very embarrassed and shamed, really, to say that I prayed about this and spent so much energy and time and prayer. That's ridiculous. And I'm 66 years old. I don't know why this was so important. Rick texted me very much gracious. Said, "You're going to win. You deserve it. Congratulations." Sent me a couple emails, and all week long they were very nice. But I don't want to. I'm not going to do any trash talk, silliness. I think if it would have been some other guys, it would have been shameful to read what they wrote. In the past they have, but this is my last fantasy competition. It's a little sad, but I'm in the twilight of my years. I'm going to celebrate the victory. Yes, I will. Very calmly. It's New Year's Eve, but I feel a little bit empty. The chase is over. It's New Year's Eve. It's cold out. It's about 7:30, not quite 7:30 yet. Spent 6.5 hours watching silly game of roadmen going up and down the field. There's got to be more to life than that. It's been a long season. I was 12-2, got a bye, and then won 2 more games in the playoffs. One by a half a point, and this one by 15, which I easily could have lost both. And I haven't lost since October. So I just point that to I'm trying to change my life, and I want to be victorious and prosperous, but I want to be more toward helping people and living the right way, living the right life on my job at a high estate. So maybe this was a life lesson for me, I don't know. But I did win. I was upset and nervous all day. I wanted to finish what I started. But at the end, the enthusiasm was definitely gone. Looks like Mike's going to get third position. He had 111 points, so he would have beat me by 1.5 points today. Nobody else came close. Oh, Evan had a good day. He had 119. He beat his grandpa again. So I don't know what the final standings are going to be. Probably me, Rick, Mike, Scott, Teresa, Christopher, Kayla. Randy might have got last. Randy or Mary got last for the league. So it was a down year for many. I'm proud that I won, but I put way too much effort and time and energy into this. I don't ever want to do this again. Never, never, never. So I give thanks to God for this. I'm going to get a little trophy, and put on. I'm still debating if I want to go to the banquet. If they invite me, I'll go, but we're not real close, unfortunately, like I want to be. I want to get that back, and there's been some friction for whatever reason. Not sure exactly why, but that's the way it is. There was some upsets today. Philadelphia Eagles looked awful. That's why I didn't go with the Cardinals to players to win. Baltimore looks like the best team in football, even though there's some, in my opinion, some deficits there too. So Kansas City doesn't look sharp at all. I don't see them doing much. I don't see Buffalo. They were unimpressive today. San Francisco is probably going to be one of the top seeds, but they lost McCaffrey, probably not for long. He'll probably be out for next week and then the bye, but he'll be ready for playoffs. So if I had to make a guess, I'm going to say San Francisco versus Baltimore in the Super Bowl. And at this point, it looks like it might be Baltimore, but it could be a good game. San Francisco versus Baltimore, a rematch of their game a couple weeks ago where Baltimore won pretty handily. Browns are in the playoffs. Detroit's in the playoffs, so I'm rooting for them. Dallas is in. Some teams, it's not quite clear yet who it will be. But that's going to be a wrap-up for today. Again, the Bengals were defeated by the Chiefs. I don't know if the Bengals still have a chance yet. There's a lot of 7 and 8 teams, 8 and 8 teams still in. The Rams are might make it. Steelers, but I'm not impressed by them. I'm going to stick with my original Ravens and 49ers in the Super Bowl. So I want to thank you for listening. I did it. I I got my title. I wanted to get it on tape. I'm proud of that because I like to accomplish things, but in the scheme of things of accomplishments and being significant in this world, that it only proved that God is with me and He answers my prayer. But I want to do more. I want to do more for my society, for my nursing students, and of course with my family and my brothers. That's what's important for me. So we'll see you down the road with another podcast. And again, I did it. It's on record. I'm the 2023 Smith Family Fantasy Football League champion.